Wolfgang Liebertz.
Each one of us is born with something that makes us unique, something that separates us from everyone else. When you meet me, one of my most immediate gifts is not something that I was born with. It was something that was given to me. My name is Wolfgang. That means before I was born, my parents had a conversation that went something like this. What about Mike? No, not Mike. What about Steve? Not Steve. Wolfgang, yes, we're going to go with Wolfgang. And that became my name. Ladies and gentlemen, fellow Toastmasters, dignitaries, welcome guests. I would like to talk to everybody today about the curse and the blessing of being named Wolfgang. When I was little, I didn't know that I had a unique name, but my mother loves to tell the story about bringing me to diving meets. I used to be on the diving team when I was a really little kid, and just watching all the parents' heads turn as they announced my name. And now diving, whatever terrible dive a 7-year-old kid dives, now diving Wolfgang Liebertz. And in Ohio, everybody goes, they want to see this name, Wolfgang. When I was in the 5th grade, I was on the wrestling team. And the same thing happened, except now I knew. Wrestling on mat 3, Wolfgang Liebertz. I was a terrible diver. I was also a terrible wrestler. However, I had a great audience because of my name. Because who doesn't want to watch a guy named Wolfgang wrestle? I know. I got teased. I got teased a lot. Imagine getting on the bus to go to school in the morning and the whole bus howls at you as you get on. Oh! Can't tell, they howled every day.
I like that.
That was in Ohio, and then I moved to New York. And when I moved to New York just in time for freshman year of high school, and this was my chance to start again. It was a new city, new people, a new school. My first day at school, I went up to my teacher and I said, my name is Wolfgang, but I would prefer to be called Jim. And he said, okay. And he introduced me as Jim, and he called me Jim, and everybody knew me as Jim. And everything was great. Life was great. It was making friends, trying to meet as many people as I could in a new school for 3 days. And then on the 4th day, the teacher left the attendance sheet on his desk, and some of the students got a hold of it. So they saw my name, and I was sitting there in my chair getting ready for my day, and from across the room, I heard, Wolfgang, it's him. Cat was out of the bag. The worst part about that was, for the rest of the year, I had to have this conversation. No, you don't have to call me Jim. Yes, my name is Wolfgang. I don't know why I wanted you to call me Jim. No, that's not my name. Just to put it in perspective, that teacher sat me for the rest of the year next to a guy named Kevin Horseman. Because he wanted, and I quote, all of the animals to sit together. And then my nickname became Jim Gang. Or something like that. So I endured. And a funny thing happened. When it was junior year and I came into school to start my 3rd year in high school, suddenly Wolfgang was a cool name. I don't know if I was old enough or everyone was old enough, but suddenly it was no longer a funny name. Suddenly people who I'd never met before were saying, Wolfgang, what's up? High-fiving me. I'm like, what's up? I don't know who that was, but that was everything. I got all sorts of cool new nicknames. Wolfgang, Wolferoonie, Wolfpack, Pack, Wolfmeister General. And one day, a guy came into school and he said, you know what? I was talking to my dad about your name. Who? And he told me that in Germany it's a common name, but here it's more like a regular name, like Walter. So your name is really Walter. No, I think your father's drawing an analogy. No, he's not. Your name is Walter. So he started calling me Walter. And then he started telling other people, and then I had this whole group of people calling me Walter. And I had the exact opposite experience that I had 2 years before. Now I was not shunning my name, I was defending my name, because that was the moment that my name became my own. It was truly my name. I had to fight to keep it. And so I did. And on it went. I'm going to tell you that Wolfgang is a great way to meet women. I cannot tell you how many women I've had to show my license to prove that my name was Wolfgang. It's great. At work, and whenever I have started a new job, I find out, after I get to know everybody at the job, that between me being interviewed and being hired and my first day at the job, there's always some sort of conversation that goes on when they find out they're going to work with a guy named Wolf. It goes like this. Do you think he howls? How hairy do you think he is? Is he from Pennsylvania. You know, it's just amazing that it's the same at every job. I'm reminded of a story, and that is this. When I was a new driver, I was driving upstate New York in the middle of the winter time, and I made a blatantly illegal left-hand turn, and I got pulled over. And the officer took my license, my registration, and my insurance card, and he went back to his car. And I'm sitting there waiting to give clearly it's going to be a big ticket because it was obviously the wrong thing to do. And all of a sudden I hear, "Sir, could you please come back to the patrol car?" And so I got out of the car, and I went and I had my hands in my pockets, and I'm waiting to hear what this patrolman has to say to me. And he says, this is literally what he says. He looks at me and goes, "This is your name. This is the name that your mother gave you. Now I think I'm going to jail." I'm going to let you go just because of this name. And he let me go. So what's the lesson? The lesson is, don't let your obstacles get in your way. You gotta stick in it and hang in there, because you never know what can happen. You never know what life is going to bring you. Now, certainly I didn't overcome a disease. All I did was grow into my name. But when I was 10 years old and being howled at on the bus, it was the same. It was something that was a terrible thing that was part of who I was that I had to overcome. Life is truly ironic. I mean, it's insane. How would I know that the thing that made everybody howl to me on the bus when I was 10 years old was going to become my keys to the city? And that's really what it was. That's what it became. So hang in there, and to quote my mother, if there's a lesson to be learned, and that is, when men plan, God laughs. Thank you very much.